Calling the angels, calling angels. In my right hand, Michael, in my left hand, Gabriel, before me, Uriel, behind me, Raphael. In my right hand, Michael, in my left hand, Gabriel, before me, Uriel, behind me, Raphael, calling the angels. Ooh, calling our angels. In my right hand, Michael, in my left hand, Gabriel, before me, Uriel, behind me, Raphael. In my right hand, Michael, in my left hand, Gabriel, before me, Uriel, behind me, Raphael. And within me is love. Within me is almighty love, love, love. Calling the angels, bringing in our angels. Oh, mi, Michael, umismoli Gabriel, umilefanaי Uriel, umifanaי Raphael. Oh, mi, Michael, umismoli Gabriel, umifanaי Uriel, umicharai Raphael. Oh, and within me is love. Within me, almighty love, love, love. Oh, within us is peace and love, light. Oh, in me, I am the love, love. Calling the angels, calling the angels, calling the angels, our angels.
Thank you, Laura.
So good afternoon, everyone. And I was just reading the chat. And before we get started, I want to add in what David said is holding our hearts and our thoughts and the very truth of who and what we are with the hostages and the ceasefire and the either celebration or consternation, whichever way you look at it, of our day tomorrow here in these United States, knowing it is all held in the love and the light of the divine. So here we are together revealing your reverie consciousness. And I want to start us out with a little giggle as usual. So there was a man, he was a billionaire, and he had a party. And he invited everybody in his town to the party. He lived in a small little town, kind of like you, Dolora. There was only like 2,500 people to come. So everybody came to the party, and he had everything at the party you could possibly want. And he had a swimming pool. In his swimming pool, he had alligators and crocodiles. There's no reason why he did. He just did. And he said, anyone who can swim from the full length of this pool with the alligators and crocodiles in the pool, I will give you anything you want, anything. So everyone was looking around at each other, well, I don't know who it's going to be. And then someone showed up and jumped in, and he swam the length of the pool from one end to the other. And when he got to the other end, he jumped out and everybody applauded him. And so the billionaire said, okay, you did it. What is it I can give you? What is it you want? I said, I'd give you anything. What do you want? And the person said, what I want is I'd like to know who pushed me. Oh, just a little giggle so that we can know in all of our seriousness and all of what looks like the profundity of life, there is also still laughter, because it's all God, it's all good. It's all one power and one presence. So when I was being with this, revealing your reverie consciousness, knowing that this is our reverie consciousness is our sacred dream. And by that, I mean the sacred dream, the sacredness that comes from within us. It's already in there. We already came loaded and coded. I'm sure you know, I'm going to say it, that each one of us came with our own blueprint, our own divine blueprint. And it's all in there. And much like Juliet, thank you so much for the lovely meditation. Like she said, let's let it up and out of us. It's in us. It's in there. So that our reverie consciousness is something that's already in us. We need only tap into it and or open our hearts to it. Some of the definitions I'd like to play around with here while we co-create together, and why you might be saying, what's she talking about, co-create together? She's talking, I'm listening. No, we are co-creating together in the oneness. So as we co-create together, this sharing is only what it is because each one of us chose to be here in this moment in time, and we chose to be a part of this. We chose to be a part of this transformation, transmutation, healing, learning, and so much more. So some of the definitions I'd like us to work with or be in agreement about, maybe that's it, is first reverie, the word reverie. And when that came to me, I was a little concerned. I mean, I know the word, but I thought, okay, Spirit, what is this? So I looked it up, and some of the definitions for the word reverie are a visionary idea or a revelation. And what is a revelation? A disclosure not before realized, and or an epiphany. So all of these things, the reverie, once again, is something that lives and breathes and has its beingness within us. It's already in there. We already each came with our own dream. We already each came with our own reverie consciousness. It's in there. When you and I said, yes, I'll go. Okay, yes, whatever you'd like to call it, spirit, the life force, Adonai, Elodumare, Jehovah Jireh, the Tao, whatever. When we came, each of us said, yes, I'll go, because I am here to live that purpose. I am here to be that reverie consciousness. So that's about reverie. And secondly, consciousness is a word that we all know. We all work at it. We all accept it. We all express it, embody it, embellish it. We all radiate and elucidate it. However, what I would like us to think about when we think about our consciousness is full awareness of the mind, the senses, and the soul. Once again, full awareness of the mind, the senses, and the soul. So as I was being with this revealing your, my, our reverie consciousness, a poem by Rumi showed up for me. Rumi, who was the 13th century poet and Sufi master, whom I love. And what showed up is this snippet. Humankind is being led along an evolving course. Through this migration of intelligences, and though we seem to be sleeping, there is an inner wakefulness that directs the dream, and that will eventually startle us back to the truth. So there's an inner wakefulness. Think about that inner wakefulness that directs the dream that I am, that you are, that we are, the dream that we brought along with us here. The dream that, as I was being with it when I knew about this, the dream that is our own bespoke, customized, individualized dream. Because this weekend we are celebrating a dream in several ways. And what we're celebrating the dream of Dr. King. We are also celebrating the liberty and the democracy of the United States of America. So we each come with our own dream. And so that Rumi quote really helps me to understand and know that the dream is within, and it will eventually startle us back to the truth. I love that, like the visual of that, or just the feeling tone of that. It will startle us back to the truth, because the truth is always in us. It's always in there. The truth is who and what each one of us is. So it's Dr. King weekend. Happy Dr. King weekend. And Dr. King's famous I Have a Dream speech, which we probably all know inside and out, was on August 23rd, 1968. And it was an outpouring of, it was a product of, it was an unfolding of the March on Washington for freedom and jobs. And it was an equality. So we all know, I'm going to go through, maybe we don't all know. I know, we know what we know because there's only one mind. However, what Dr. King's speech concentrated on in his own reverie consciousness, in his dream, the dream that he had is the vision of racial equality, peace-filled protests. All children are created as one. Now, this one it's very dear to me because we are all one. Yes, we come in gorgeous, differing technicolor colors and sizes and nationalities and ethnicities and genders and all that. However, we truly are all one. Each of us is an expression of the Most High. Each of us is made in the image and likeness of the divine. Each one of us is so adored and cherished and loved by Spirit itself. We are all one. It's often said there's only one of us here. There seems to be a lot of us here, but there's only one of us here. We are all one. So his vision of all children as one was not far from what's really happening, what's always been happening, because there is a child in each one of us. The little girl inside of me, sometimes she's wild and crazy, sometimes she's not. However, she does remind me that of the purity of the divine that's within. And that same child inside each of us, no matter what we went through as children, all of us as children, I don't know anybody who had a perfect childhood at all. However, there is that oneness still there, and that childlike knowingness can remind us of the knowingness. And that was in Dr. King's speech. The final thing in Dr. King's speech, not final, but the highlight that I like is that the Bank of Justice is solvent and trustworthy. That the United States of America writes checks and they can make good on them. In justice and trust and all of those other things. And that is, I believe, and I'm picturing of, on our money, it says, in God we trust. I believe that's just yet another form of saying that the one power, the one spirit is still living, breathing, and have its beingness in through and as all of us in what we call this country. So Dr. King's, those are some of the highlights of Dr. King's speech, his I Have a Dream speech, because that was part of his dream. And those are very interesting to me, and I've known them, well, since I was, in 1968, I want to admit to you, David, you were talking about your chronological age. In 1968, I was a college student already, so I remember this speech quite vividly. However, what really was important to me as I was just being with it and letting spirit flow through me is the other people that had to do with the I Have a Dream speech. Did anybody else have a dream? And so I was looking up all of Dr. King's lieutenants, as I might call them, or his supporters, and I came upon a woman named Dorothy Cotton. She was born in 1930, and she transitioned in 2018. She was born in North Carolina in the segregated South, obviously, and she was part of Dr. King's inner circle. She was education director for the SCLC, which is the Southern Christian Leadership Council, which is what was behind the March on Washington. She taught kids how to picket and march. And she also did this thing that really blows me away, is that she came up with the Citizen Education Program, which means, you probably all know this, she prepared people for voting literacy tests, because in the South, you had to be literate to be able to vote, and you had to prove that. So to me, she had this spectacular dream, the same dream Dr. King had, and the same dream that can live and breathe and have its beingness within, through, and as each one of us, right here and right now. And she was also one of the organizers of the March on Washington. So in the Science of Mind textbook, it speaks to us about imagination. And I believe imagination, revelations, dreams, reveries are all cousins to one another, so to speak. They're all rolled up together. And what it says about imagination is to imagine with the power to manifest such imagination would be to remain in a dream world. Would be to remain in a dream world, which would never come to self-realization. This is not the world in which humanity lives at all, for humanity's world is one of self-expression. Yeah, says our world is one of self-expression. So the practical ways of revealing your reverie consciousness is an acronym. This acronym is Divine Revelation, Expression, and Manifestation. Again, Divine Revelation, Expression, and Manifestation. Dream. Each one of us has our own unique, bespoke, individualized, spectacular, fantastic, splendiferous dream that we get to be a dream. And as we allow ourselves to move into our reverie consciousness. And in what ways do we do that? Meditation. Thank you again, Juliet, for that lovely meditation. It's been said that meditation is an inner shower. What does that mean? I love that vision, that imagery. Inner shower, like when I got up this morning, I showered with the holy water of Oakland, California, and I felt like, okay, all the dust and dirt of the journey was off of me. The inner shower was when before I got in the water, to sit down and do my meditation, letting all the misbeliefs, letting all the ego thoughts, letting everything unlike itself to fall off and stay present in the moment, in the meditation. Merely stay present. So one of the ways we can do this is have our own dream, meditation, prayer, education, and awakening to life's goodness. We are never forsaken. Yeah, I'm stopping so we can all be with that. There is no way we can be forsaken in whatever our pursuit, whatever our endeavor, whatever our event, whatever our activity, whatever. We are never forsaken. And the reason we're not is because the Christ consciousness streams within, through, and as us. The Christ consciousness knows itself as each one of us. And the Christ consciousness, I might add, is that consciousness of all possibilities. Yeah, and once again, we're back to what is consciousness? It is absolutely that which we can sense and feel and know and hear with our soul, our heart, our mind, our very being, with our body temple thrown in too. So those are a couple of the ways: by prayer, meditation, and just knowing that the Christ consciousness lives and breathes and has its beingness within and as each one of us. That the only way that spirit can come to earth is through and as each one of us. I am the Christ. You are the Christ. We are the Christ. Each one of us. And I'm not saying Jesus Christ, Yeshua ben Joseph, the Hebrew carpenter. No, each one of us has that Christ consciousness within us, lighting us up from within, radiating out of us when we allow it. When we allow that all possibilities consciousness to come through, when we allow that to be our dream. So the second way that we can live in our dream, be the dream, is acute awareness and clarity. And what does that mean? Asking myself every day, what is wanting to emerge from me? Or asking ourselves, what's the world calling me to bring? Yeah, what's the world calling me to bring of the gifts that I am and have? And finally, what's my Dr. King reverie? Okay, Martin Luther King had a reverie. We all have it. He was an example, not the exception. We all have one. So going within, using our spiritual practices, using spiritual principles, and allowing ourselves to not only know it, however, then to live it, to embrace it, to be it, to absolutely know it as truth. So in the 2 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, the first and second verse, it says, "It is not expedient for me to be dauntless to glory, for I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord." Now, this is ancient writing to me, and probably is to you. However, the way that I feel the interpretation of it unfolds for us is, it's not expedient for me to be dauntless to glory, which means to say, you and I are we're like some really big deal. We are glory. We are the might, the majesty, the fluidity, the grace, the splendiferousness, the fabulosity of the divine. So it's not expedient for me to doubt it, because it is who and what I am. It's right there at the door saying, Okay, I'm ready. Okay. I'm here. Let me out, let me out, let me out, let me pour into the world. And the second thing, part of this is for I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord, which to me is the reverie of consciousness. Visions and revelations of the Lord is visions and revelations of the law and or the Christ consciousness, which is the infinitude of all possibilities. It happens, it unfolds, it radiates, it makes itself known. As you and I give ourselves an opportunity to reveal that reverie consciousness in, through, and as each one of us. So I'd like to briefly give you an example how this is happening in my life. I realized that part of the reason the main reason I came to the planet is to learn and teach about prosperity. And this has been my companion my whole life about prosperity, abundance, wealth, opulence. Am I, aren't I, do I, don't I? Anyway, and at a particular point in my life, I came to a juncture of being a large amount of money in debt to Nordstrom's. Yes, Nordies. The all popular, the all powerful Nordstrom's of Seattle and Portland and all that. And my life came to know that, okay, I came to know that, okay, we get to change this now. We get to shift. We get to go within. We get to really hunker down into what is the dream that I brought with? What is wanting to emerge? What is my Dr. King dream? And it became learning about prosperity, abundance, debt, all those sorts of things. So in the interim, I since then I have a 21-day sequential course called the Abundance Adventure Play Shop, which is for 21 days. Every day you do something for 15 minutes, and then at the end it shifts. It shifts everything, and I'm telling you, it really does. So I've been teaching this course live for a long time. A ministerial friend of mine asked me, "Could you put that course in videos so that I can share it with my congregation?" That they can, take the course and just do it in their own increments instead of you being here personally. So at the moment I thought, oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh no, she's a dear friend of mine. She asked me to do this. I'm not going to say no to her, but I have no idea where to go with this. Needless to say, I prayed on it, took it into prayer and meditation, and Spirit showed me exactly how to do it, to make the 21 videos. And I really had a great time. So I made them. She and I got our lives involved in some other things, and I did not send them to her, send her. However, I kept knowing that this is my gift to the planet. This is my dream come true. This is not my dream come true for me to get out there and be on social media. It is the bringing my version of what is wanting to emerge, my version of what is the world wanting me to bring. Or the world wants me to bring an opportunity for others to learn what I learned, to know what I know, and to accept and understand that we are all emissaries of the abundance, the affluence, the wealth, and the generosity of the divine. Cut to the chase. Recently, a friend of mine told me about a virtual assistant that she used who knows how to do exactly this, who knows how to put it on a person's website so that then it can be accessible to all others. This was just a day or two ago. I understand and know that this is my dream. This is me divinely revealing and expressing and manifesting. Dream. Yeah. So I have, even though it's Dr. King Day, tomorrow I have an appointment with the virtual assistant and we're going to go from there, which, as you can see, it makes my heart sing. It lights me up and it lets me know that the blueprint that I came with, that the revealing of my own reverie consciousness can happen if I allow these things to unfold. If I accept them, if I own them, if I embody them, if I embrace them and know that this is the truth of who and what I am, and it's the same truth of who and what each of you are. Is the truth for every single one of us, because we are truly one power, one presence, one blueprint, one reverie, one dream, one imagination, one outpicturing of the Most High in, through, and as us. So I'm inviting you on this Dr. King weekend, on this weekend of possibly consternation and or celebration, whichever suits you or whatever's in between. I'm inviting you on this weekend, and on this weekend of peace reigning supreme, and this weekend of knowing the truth for the hostages and knowing the truth for everyone in Gaza. I'm inviting you to allow yourself to divinely reveal, express, and manifest the dream that is wanting to emerge through and as you. Namaste.
Sometimes you wonder if everything's alright, but the voice is loud and clear, and always about something you need to hear. She's the lady of the wind, living and standing in the shadows of once been still. She's making her dreams come true, fortunes alive in me and you. These are voices, our voices. It's you and me and everything in between. Our voices. We're the fire of the heart, and all of forever in a brand new start, reclaiming what's always been, writing our tears on that wind. These are voices, yeah, our voices. It's you and me and everything in between. Our voices. Our individual voices. Together, our voices. One step closer to peace each day, and one step closer to love. Yeah. Tell her you need her. Tell her you really, really love to meet her. Stomping our feet to the music,